add JavaScript to our HTML tag. We can do this on our header by starting a script section. JavaScript is usually written in a script section. So when we start a section like this with script and close with script, everything inside this script, in between these two scripts, is going to be JavaScript. And whatever you do there, you can use JavaScript code within this block to control the activities on your web page. So for example, we are going to add some more content, write some content to the HTML page. Let me see, let's just write line and then we'll put something like, sorry, another statement. This is from JavaScript. This is from JavaScript. If we save our file and you look at the browser, you will see this one is appearing now. This is from JavaScript. It's not written in the HTML body. And then, but it's used, it's written on the JavaScript, and we use the JavaScript to add it to the page. And we can equally manipulate other things in the HTML, like make an animation or create a form in the HTML and capture the data with our JavaScript. Now, this is one of the ways you can do JavaScript in a HTML file by bringing a script section into your code. Then the another way you do JavaScript is by writing the JavaScript code file. Just like this is our index.html, we can then do this in index.js and then link the index.js to our index.html. So now I'm going to write something else now in the index.html JS file. Let's use right line so that it will be in a different line. And then put this is coming from external file. Then we'll come back to our index.html for the link, and this is how we link. You also start a script section, but in this case, you will not put src. When you put src, the browser knows that your JavaScript is not written in this HTML file, but in a different JavaScript file, which need to be loaded. So now we have added our JavaScript, and then you can see now the next line, the next thing we wrote there, this is coming from external file, have been appended to the page. You can see that. So we can put this in different section of the screen to make them appear also in the different section. When we put this below, you see it's now appearing below because we move the linking to the bottom of our page. If you put it on the top level, it will be executed first because the browser interprets your HTML JavaScript code from the top to the bottom of your document. So whatever is at the top level will display on the top level of your page. So this is the way you link JavaScript in HTML. Now basically everything here, the HTML is a standard HTML tag. The first line here is telling the browser what this file, the type of file is that this document is, and it's saying the doc type, this document type is HTML, and our language under this HTML, because everything will not be enclosed in a HTML tag, and then the language is English, and under the head section is the part that the browser used to do some encoding, just to get some of the encoding of your file, like the cassette, this HTTP encrypt, name, content type, the content width, the auto scaling, everything is done on the header. This part doesn't display on the user screen, rather like the title in the header is what you see on the browser tab when you put your cursor here. Is you see that our title is index page, and this is why it is showing here. Everything on the header is used just to give some information about our document, which the browser will use. They are not displayed on the HTML body. But everything inside the body of your HTML is used to display on the screen. That is what the browser usually render on the screen. Then additionally, every tag in HTML, most of them need to be closed. When you have header, you have a closing header, and to close the header, you just need to add this forward slash at the after the less than sign. Then you put the header, the name of the tag, and that will do the closing. That is the same thing with the body. That is the same thing with the HTML, and that is the same thing with the H1. Although there are some tags that don't close like this, as we proceed, we'll be able to introduce those tags also. Now you can do a paragraph in just like the way you write your normal paragraph in your English letters. You can do paragraph in your HTML, and paragraph is represented by the P tag. Once you do opening bracket, P and close it, everything in between that is going to be taken as a paragraph. So we can say this is a new a new paragraph. This is a new paragraph. It will display in a new line with some spacing between it and any other section of your document. So when I save this, you see it will appear on the screen, and in between it and the header, there is a space. In between it and the next thing we wrote, there is also a space. That is usually a space between the bracket, the P paragraph, and any other thing that is not within it. So that is how we do paragraphing in our document to make our document organized. We can also make a section of it to be bold. We can make it to be italic. There are also tags to do this. As we progress in our study, we'll be able to unveil some of these tags one after the other for mastery. So today, this is where our class stops, the summary of our class. And like I showed us earlier, in your VS Code, in your folder, you create these two folders, HTML and the JS. And inside the JS, you create a file, index.html. Inside your JS, you create index.js. You create also the welcome.html, welcome.js. Any one of them you use to write your code. And by the next class, we'll be considering other aspects of JavaScript. We'll be digging more deeper into JavaScript. Every day, we learn new things adding to the one we've learned. We also have a recap of what we learned previously.